Hey there, all you Beatle YouTubers. How you doing? It's Joe here with another song for you. I'm going to be doing Yes It Is today, and this is actually a request from another great Beatle guitarist out there on YouTube, Vaughn Gibson. Okay, man, this is for you. So I'm really excited about doing this song today because I looked at the chord books and seen some other YouTubers play it, and then I checked the anthology and listened to some unique things happening on this song. And I'm also lucky because I have studio tracks 1 to 14 of this song that I downloaded from someplace. And it shows really interestingly how John takes some basic chords and changes them into his own way and makes the song really unique. So I'm going to show you two versions of the song, the kind of book version, which everybody plays and which is totally okay. And then I'm going to kind of show you what I think John is doing on this song. And you might disagree with me or you might have some input, and I'd love to hear it. So without further ado, let's take a look at the two different ways to play this song. Alright, let's take a look at the first version of this song, which is what you might see in most chord books or some other YouTubers out there playing it this way. There's nothing wrong with it, it works perfectly fine, but just remember that after this version I'm going to show you the second way to play it, which I think is much better and which I think is the way John plays it. So, let's check this out here. Okay, first of all, we're starting with an E chord, then an A chord, then an F sharp minor 7, okay, then a B7, then again an E chord, A chord, now D, and then again a B7. Now we're going to go to a C sharp minor. The only thing is we're just going to cover the E string with our finger at the 4th fret to get a G sharp bass on there. We're going to go to an A after this, then a D, and back up to a C sharp minor, and then end on E. Alright, let's take a look at the strumming for this. So, alright, let me run through it. So here we go. I'm not going to do the rest of the song now. I'm just going to show you this part because the rest of the song is the same in the second version. So let's move on and see what the song really sounds like. Okay, before I begin the second version of the song, there's just a few things that I wanted to mention. If you have the anthology, you'll see that they include take 2 and take 14, and they kind of mesh them together. I have take 1 all the way to take 14. I was able to download that a few years ago and I got really lucky. And I can really see how the song progressed and how John's working things out. He plays things differently in different takes, but the chords are the same, he just tries different positions. But for me the important takes are take 1 and take 2. At that point John is still using a steel string acoustic and the chords are very clearly heard. You can hear the high notes and the low notes. In the middle of take 2 he breaks a string and he switches guitars over to a nylon string guitar, and once he does that, you know what the chords are, but you're not exactly sure the exact position that he's using. Is it a low position or a high position? So that's a little bit different. But if you listen to take 2 on the anthology, you'll hear quite clearly that John's not playing the chords which are in the chord books. You know, he is playing the E chord, but he's not playing an A, and he's definitely not playing an F sharp minor 7th here. So we're going to see what he's doing, and this is what I think is happening. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Second version. Start on an E chord, just like the first version. Second chord is not going to be an A, but an A major 7th. So we have the first finger on the 4th fret of the E string, second finger on the 5th fret of the B string, third finger on the 6th fret of the G string, and the pinky on the 7th fret of the D string. Next chord is a surprise, not an F sharp minor 7th, but actually an A add 9th. Ninth chords, or the A add 9th, are very popular in Beatles songs. So we have this first finger on the 5th fret of the B string, second finger on the 6th fret of the G string, and the third finger on the 7th fret of the D string, and then the pinky over here on the 7th fret of the high E. And then finally a B7 chord. Now, as I mentioned, I have the different takes, 1 through 14, and at different times of the different takes, John plays the B7 in different positions. Sometimes I hear him play it up here on the 7th fret, sometimes over here, and sometimes down here. I've just decided to opt for the basic version of the B7. Okay, just down here. So this is first line. And second line is basically the same, starting on the E. Same A major 7 chord. Then a D chord. And then a B7. Okay, now we begin over here, continuing this verse with the C sharp minor and covering the G sharp bass. But we're not going to go to an A chord, we're going to go to that A major 7th again. And then a D chord. And then a C sharp minor again, and end on E. So this is what it all sounds like. Okay, the rest of the song is pretty much what you see in the chord book, so there's no big surprises here. After we finish the second verse, we're on an E chord, and then we just add the E7th. So just put the pinky down over here on the 2nd fret, the 3rd fret of the B string. So, and then the bridge begins on a B minor, then an E chord, then an A chord, then an F sharp minor, okay, then back to a B minor, then an E chord, and then up to a C sharp minor, 4th fret, and then an E chord, and now an F sharp major. Make sure it's a major this time, F sharp major, and end the phrase on a B7. Alright, so let's take a look at that. If I could forget, but it's my pride. Okay, I'm just going to run through the 2 verses and into the bridge just to show you how things kind of tie together. And I'm not really going to be singing it, got a bit of a sore throat, but I'll just kind of hum along with the song. So here we go. Remember all I said. Finally, we'll take a look at the end of the song, and we're just going to be adding one more chord, and we're going to be adding this G sharp major here, 4th fret, major chord. So the last 2 lines of the song will be, yes it is, it's true, and then A, yes it is, it's true. Alright, so let me play the last verse, and this is what it's like. Please don't get around tonight. This is what I said tonight. For red is the color that will make me blue. In spite of you, it's true. Yes, it is, it's true. Yes, it is, it's true. Okay, Beatle fans, that's it for this time. I hope you enjoyed it. And as I mentioned before, it doesn't really matter which version you play, the first or the second. They both work with the song. However, if you do listen to take 2 and play along with it, you'll hear that what I showed you today, I think, is exactly what John's doing. However, I am open to comments or suggestions. If any of you have any any input on the song, I'm more than happy to hear your ideas. If you do play along with the anthology version or the take 2, you'll have to tune your guitar down a little bit, probably half tone or maybe a little bit more. And I found that listening to the studio tracks, this is something that the Beatles often did, tune their guitars down and played a little bit lower. And then when they recorded it, it was recorded at a higher speed to kind of give it a little bit more of a brightness to it. So that's kind of a trick that they did all the time. So that's it. We'll see you around next time, and peace out.